الرحمن الرحيم
إذا وقعت الواقعة ليس لوقعتها كاذبة خافضة
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم إلى يوم الدين. This verse that we're going to be sharing here, reciting 27, from Maymana, the terminology changes to Yamin. So one is the people of good fortune, Maymana, and then it's going to be Ashabul Yamin. They're the same group. It's not like another group's being added. Then we have Ashabul Mash'ama, and those are the people of ill fortune. And we said, and I said this time and time again, is that some people think that their goal in life is just to get into heaven and just to flee from hell. And that is something very important, true, very important. But our goal is not just to enter heaven. Our goal is to perform the best, to do the most ahsan, the most beautiful and good deeds that we can in this world. Because if you aim just for the bare minimum, I don't know if you ever had an exam, and you just bear for an average grade, or you aim for like just passing, like a D or something. Every year professors are telling me they're bringing the standards lower and lower so more people can pass because the grades are getting so bad. So whatever it is to pass, if you aim for that, what is the possibility of failing? It's much as higher, because that's the way the shaitan works. He says, look, you just want to pass, and then even that passing, he'll do something, you'll fail. But if you aim for the highest, and you want to become the best, then it becomes very hard to fail. Like if you take a course and you're like, I'm going to ace this course, I'm going to get an A+, I'm not going to get anything wrong at all, it will be very hard for you to fail. So using this, mentality, when we understand the Quran, Allah is encouraging us to be the sabiqun. Why? Because being a minimal Muslim is dangerous. Just only doing wajibat and just barely, sneaking our way into heaven, because we don't know what will be accepted if you don't add mustahab things, if you don't add recommended things that will take the place of wajib things, if they're naqis, if they're incomplete, then in reality we could fail and be punished and tormented. So we should aim to be the sabiqun, and we only have one chance to live. And one of the other names of the Day of Judgment is Yawmul Hasra, the Day of Regret, because we see those people that were higher and they actually worked very hard for it. And that day we said, I wish I worked harder. I wish I just came back to this world and just said one more La ilaha illallah, one more surah of Quran I wish I would have read. Because we'll be so thirsty for action there. So the mentality that a true Muslim should have, and you go over the narrations from Ahlul Bayt that tells about Sifatul Shia, the attributes of the Shia, and they're very strict. Sometimes I'm embarrassed, and I tell people when I read those Sifat, I say, these are not things that I have mastered or I've done myself. These are things I'm working at, because the Sifatul Shia, a true Shia, is one that has, is unparalleled to anyone else. So we should aim, we have one chance to live, we should aim to be a true Shia, right? We should aim to be a sabiqun. And if we don't, we will regret it. So therefore, just take that, image that we have, that Quran, and this is one of the ways we can understand this surah, is that you have people of ill fortune, good fortune, okay. But Allah starts with as-sabiqun. And we have so many examples of Imam Ali and what he did for Islam at the beginning to encourage us to become the foremost, to become the best. Okay. So here we have now the second group, and all the other verses about the reward were for sabiqun, for muqarrab. Those are the closest. Now we're going to read Ashabul Yamin, the second group. The second category is this. Those that are just joined us, you can go to verse 27, Surah Al-Waqia. Surah Al-Waqia is surah number 56, You just do 56:27. وَأَصْحَابُ الْيَمِينِ مَا أَصْحَابُ الْيَمِينِ. The companions of the right, what are the companions of the right? So this is a rhetorical question that is going to magnify the position of Ashabul Yamin. Yamin means right. So this means those that will be shown, they're the people of the good hand, the people that they'll receive their deeds on the right hand. So don't think that just because you're not of the Sabiqun now, that it is a bad position. Even if someone is on just Ashabul Yamin, they're not at the foremost, they have a good position, they're going to be, their status is magnified in the Quran. And it conveys amazement, as here, Allama Tabatabai mentions in Al-Mizan. It conveys amazement. So when you say, wa ashabul yamin, the companions of the right, this rhetorical question, what are the companions of the right? Ma ashabul yamin. Because, why are they so great? Because they have sacrificed everything they liked in this world. Things that are haram. Sometimes, everyone has, things that they really like to do. And maybe they don't like everything haram, but there are some things that are really hard to not get into for some. So therefore, they are the ones that have, wa alaykum as-salam, they are the ones that in reality have fought against their nafs, fought against their lower desires, and sacrificed what they wanted. And the traditions mentioned, and some of the traditions, it's amazing when you see the status of a person that can have haram, has the ability, but chooses iffa and chastity, chooses modesty instead. And the reward they get, they'll be one of the highest of rewards, highest even then, higher or equal to those that fight in the way of God. So they deserve this perpetual paradise, everlasting paradise, because they have shown themselves for 50 years, 70 years, 80 years, however long they live, they have shown that they're not going to commit sin. They're going to submit to the will of God. They're not going to go over for corruption. They're going to live a good life, a wholesome life. So therefore, Quran magnifies their status. It doesn't say, oh, you guys, you weren't part of the Sabiqun, you guys, you're going to have something okay. Actually it says, Ashabul Yamin, ma Ashabul Yamin. Even if you're not of the greatest of the great, the foremost, your status is magnified. Tuba lakum, great for you. Fact that this turns from the people of good fortune to the people of the right hand. Remember, we said this first, it was talking about Ashabul Maymana. Now it's Ashabul Yamin. So the Quran changes the terminology. It is the same group, just uses, from the people of good fortune to the people of the right hand. Shows that the two groups are one and the same. Namely, the people of good fortune are the ones who will receive the record of their deeds in their right hand. So the question posed in this verse is rhetorical and intended to magnify their status and convey amazement in their state. I want you to think about the way that Quran does tarbiyat of us, and the Quran purifies us and raises our rank. One of the ways is to talk about verses of hellfire to scare us, and you become scared. A lot of people, maybe when they wake up for Salatul Fajr, most people, I don't know, here maybe you can raise your hands, maybe you can get a little survey. How many people pray Salatul Fajr because of the reward of paradise? Like, I'm going to wake up just for paradise, Allahu Akbar. Or how many people here, so that's the one group, maybe let's see if anyone can vote. You just raise your hand. How many people perform Salatul Fajr because of paradise? 2, how many people, so nobody, how many people perform the morning prayer because of fear of hell? That if I don't do it, I will be punished. When we wake up, and we want to wake up in the morning, usually, or any action that we want to do, in our minds, if we are orientated for the hereafter, we'll say, wait a minute, I'm destroying my akhirat. I'm destroying all the good deeds. All that good that I gathered, it can be destroyed by evil deeds. I'm destroying my position. So therefore, you see that when we look at these verses that talk a bit that talk about the reward of paradise, it's encouraging us, saying this is your home. This is what's going to happen to you. If you're patient, this is what's going to happen to you. So it encourages you to perform those actions that are hard for us, because you're just delaying your gratification and you're just delaying to say, look, I'll get it later on. In punishment, in the same way that I'm afraid, I want to separate myself from harm. I don't want harm to happen to me. And believe me, all of this is good. Sometimes people think that your intention is just to get heaven or to stay away from hell is a bad intention. It's not a bad intention. As I said, most people, this was actually one of our teachers in the house, I would say, most people, he was telling the students, wake up for Fajr because of fear of the hellfire. Few every day wake up and say, Allah, I want to talk to you. Allah, I want to talk to you. Few are like that. Most are because of the impact that it has. So we look at this tradition from Imam Ali alayhi salam, that he says, في صفة المتقين النهج البلاغة, from the attributes of the pious, صبروا أياما قصيرة, they endured hardship for a while, the muttaqin, the good, those that were pious in this world. He says they were patient for a while, أياما قصيرة, a short while actually, a little bit. It seems like a lot, 50 years of piety, it seems like a lot, but actually it's not, compared to the hereafter. Then it says, أَقَبَتْهُمْ رَاحَةٌ طَوِيلَةٌ, and the consequence, and in consequence, they secured comfort for a long time. So it's delayed. All of this you can see from what we have from Quran and Hadith is that, wait a minute, don't sin. Those things that you think, it's usually like one or two or three things that are, tempting you right there in your life. Wait a minute, don't do it. Don't do it for a little bit of your life. Because we believe our life is actually not only this world, it's to the hereafter, eternity. A small section of your life, just don't sin. And it's going to be very small, live a pious life, but then in the hereafter, you'll do whatever you want. And this is one of the best ways for us to be able to, deal with our nafs. Fi sidrin makhdud. Sidr is a tree, translated as the lot tree. The lot tree. I was looking at it, and one of the interesting things about the lot tree is that it is the perfect tree in Arabia. And one of the problems though it has, this tree, is that it has thorns. Now, I don't know if it really has thorns or that its leaves are like needles. Different trees that we have that their leaves are like sharp, like maybe like a pine tree or whatever. So, is it that their leaves are sharp, or is it they really have thorns? It should say thorns. So I didn't investigate the tree having thorns. I couldn't find that. But it says, fi sidrin makhdud. Because actually, Ayatul Maikaram brings this narration that the Arabs, and say, wait a minute, Quran talks about sidr. The Bedouins come and they ask, in this tradition, they ask the Prophet about the sidr tree, and it has shade and everything, and then they wonder, well, it has thorns, and they didn't like this aspect. And then the Prophet mentions that fi sidrin makhdud, that the thorns are removed. The thorns are removed. So you have trees like the lot tree, sidr tree. And sidr in general is, one of the, trees that comes up, over time in Islamic texts all the time. Fi sidrin makhdud. And then what talhin mandud. Talh here means, leaves that are very wide now. So Ayatollah Maikaram noticed this in Tafsir Namune, that one example is a tree that has, a thin leaf, sharp leaf. The other example is a tree that has a broad leaf. So there's all types of trees, all types of greenery. And here, a lot of the translated as banana trees. وَطَلْحٍ مَنْدُودٍ. Trees, it's actually layered, with fruit. So the word spaths here is in reference to the banana tree, Allah Ta'ala says, because he translated as amid thornless lot trees and clustered spaths. Some have said that it does not refer only to bananas, but to any tree with a cool, moist shade. So remember, this is very good for us, but you always have to look at the verses. I mean, everyone likes greenery, because the Quran is hudan lin-nas. Nobody doesn't like greenery. But again, it plays a special importance to the Arabs, because the first person, the mukhatab the Quran goes to, is for the Arabs, obviously, right, at that time. So you have to understand hadith and Quran according to the time period and to the people that it's sent, right? So for them, shade was very important. And it is important for everyone, obviously. Nobody likes to be under the hot sun all the time. So shade for them, it had a specific importance. Otherwise, I said that it refers to I don't know how to pronounce this, a Acacia tree, which has been pleasant smelling leaves. Anyways, so different types of trees. Clustered refers to, so talh al-mandud, clustered together, and it's stacked atop one another. Therefore, the meaning of this verse is they will be among the thornless lot trees and gardens of banana trees, laden with fruits and stacked from top and bottom. So actually this part I should erase, okay? So this is a description of it. Now a question that happens in theology, and I want you to think about this question, is that are these things really going to happen in heaven? Or is Quran just telling us, for example, something like, it's going to be something like this, and actually there's going to just be a spiritual resurrection, for example. There's not going to be any physical tree. It's just a description for you to be encouraged. So the mutakallimin and the theologians, their agreement is that the verses of Quran, the dhuhur and the verses giving this amount of detail show us that actually it will be like this. That this is how heaven will be, because it has this description. And why else would God put so much, verses and verses and verses for descriptions that actually would never be like this at all? It would just be something spiritual. I read this, for example. There are people here today. They are welders, for example. They have a hard job in the sun in California. They have to weld all the time, sweat under the sun. And it's very hot dealing with steel, for example, or whatever. They have a work that they're always under the sun. They read these verses, fi sidr makhdud wa talh mandud, and it talks about extended shade, for example. The next one, dhill mamdud. They want shade. And they go to the hereafter and they say, no, it's not shade, it's just all spiritual stuff. Say, no, wait a minute, I read these verses in Quran. I want that tree. I want that lot tree. I want to see that banana tree. I want to see the shade. God, were you joking with me? What was going on? So this is something that the theologians say, that the Quran, the dhahir of it, the apparent meaning of it, is saying that there's going to be this description. Now, is it going to be exactly like this type of tree? It's going to be way better, true. But that description in general should be true, as far as our understanding is. So heaven will have this description. So there will be rivers, there will be fruit, there will be this type of pleasure, because someone can ask in the hereafter and say, wait a minute, I came for this. This is why I came for. This is false advertising or something, you could say, because I didn't get what I wanted. So the theologians say that it is going to be al-ma'ad al-jismani. It is the hereafter. We're going to have a jism. Okay, we're going to have a body. It's going to be a bodily resurrection. It's going to be a bodily hereafter. It's going to be way better. You can't trade one fruit of heaven. You can trade it with all the fruit of this world. It's going to be much different. But it's going to be al-ma'ad al-jismani, not al-ma'ad al-rohani, just a spiritual ma'ad where it's just the spirit, and this is all, we're actually going to have a physical body. Okay? So that is what the mutakallimin say. Let's go so that's good news for you. So all these things, descriptions, take the Quran with you in the hereafter when you get into heaven. go and tell the angels, look, I ordered this, I wanted that, where is it? Give it to me. I don't want Ma'ad Rohani, I want Jismani, I want the bodily heaven. وَظِلٍّ مَمْدُودٍ, and shade extending. We're all going to be, you know how beautiful shade is. So it's a sunny day, obviously, there's sun, or, you know, it might be different, you know, the sun or whatever, there's going to be light. But it's going to be bright, but you will be under the sun, cool. وَمَاءٍ مَسْكُوبٍ, and water being poured out. So here we have some commentators have said the extended shade means that shade that is unbroken and never diminished by the sun. Therefore it is everlasting. Ever-flowing water means water that flows continuously without ending. Again, nobody likes thirst, but having water for 1400 years ago, significant, it plays a difference, you know, it has a different meaning and context, because there's going to be water that's never going to be running out. It's always flowing, right? And everyone likes that. Everyone likes being next to a beautiful river under the shade. All right. وَفَاكِهَةٍ كَثِيرًا. This is where we go to Whole Foods or Sprouts or wherever you get your fruit from, Costco. I don't know where it has the best fruit, or that Middle Eastern market that you go to that has the special fruit. وَفَاكِهَةٍ كَثِيرًا. Anybody here tell me what fakiha, the root word for fakiha, means? Fakiha means, the root word comes from enjoyment, from happiness. Because fruit was not available in Arabia how it is obviously today. I mean, nowhere in the world. But there were some cities that had fruit, maybe like Ta'if, around there. But it wasn't readily all types of fruit available. And generally, Arabia is a desert. So fruit would make people happy. It's sweet, it's sugary. I don't know if you, for a while, if you let go of all that, you know, junk food and you know, all the you know, packaged food, if you leave that for a little bit and you taste, you know, fruit, and you see how sweet it is, especially without all that genetic, you know, modification that's happening now, and it being, you know, harvested how it used to be and having those properties. Fruit is extremely sweet, and it has lots of sugar, and also lots of water, lots of, you know, we talked about in the other verses, a lot of nutrients and vitamins, and it creates a lot of happiness. And the root word of fruit in Arabic, some say it comes from happiness. So وَفَاكِهَةٍ كَثِيرًا, fruit, abundant and varied. The abundance of fruit never not limited or restricted. It says لَا مَقْتُوعَةٍ وَلَا مَمْنُوعَةٍ, never limited to season nor forbidden. Because fruit, there are certain seasons for certain fruits. وَفُرُشٍ مَرْفُوعَةٍ, and this will be the last description that we have. So, or a bed. فُرُشٍ مَرْفُوعَةٍ, furush is a plural of firash, literally meaning carpet. So rug or carpet, farsh means carpet. However, so there's carpets, but here they would, you know, translate as beds. However, some have said that the meaning of furushun marfu'a are women who are elevated in their intelligence, beauty, and perfection. So, but he says some, some have used this to mean marfu'a here means to be elevated, intelligent, beauty, perfection, as the word firash can also refer to a woman. So this, or women in general. So this accords to the meaning of the following verses, which we have created them a special creation, which we'll talk about, Hurul Ain, the women of paradise, because that comes afterwards. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين.
وقعت واقعة ليس لوقعتها كاذبة خافضة رافعة إذا رجت الأرض رجا.